wonderfulness. All right. I will probably say the matriarchal society kind of weird or wrong a couple of times. I'm so used to saying the patriarchy because, you know, smash the patriarchy. But we are going to be talking today about the matriarchal society. So I am Dr. Leah Leach. I am the headmistress of Wonder Woman Academy and the founder of Gal's Guide. And I've been so excited about this class today because I've really wanted to dive into the history of women-led societies or matriarchal societies. So because we have the wonderful jumping off point of Wonder Woman and her home, the mascara, sorry, the mascara, but it's the mascara, or Paradise Island, we're going to start with some not real societies like the Amazons. I know, sad, the Amazons aren't real, disappointing. I know. We do have a wonderful class that Bonnie was our instructor for of Amazons 101. That will be on our YouTube channel later today if you missed it. So I am going to be pulling a lot from a really great article on Amuse Vice. It's by Dr. Kate Lister. And I love her. I love her description. She is a sex historian, author, lecturer at Leeds Trinity University. She also runs a blog called The Whores of Yore. I mean, does that not sound like totally awesome? Hold on. It's giving me some notifications. Okay, there we go. All right, sweet. All right, done. I was making sure nobody needed to like come into the room. I don't think I have anybody that's still coming in. Okay, so this great article that I'm pulling a lot from is actually called Sex in Our Strange World, Why the Matriarchy Seems Better Sex for a Better Society. I'm also going to be pulling from a Mental Floss article about 6 modern societies where women rule. So let's get started. I always want to make sure I give credit where credit's due, especially when I'm using a good majority of stuff. So according to Greek mythology, you see, I think I hit the space button. There you go, the Amazons. According to Greek mythology, the Amazons were a race of warrior women who refused to live with men. So far, so sensible, right? In order to continue their survival, once a year, the Amazons would visit a neighboring tribe, the Gargarians, to have sex with the male inhabitants. Once the Amazon heads got what they wanted, they would discard their lover like soggy tissue and return back to their homeland, hopefully preggers. And 9 months later, the Amazons would have hopefully baby girls. If not, they would either return the boys to their fathers or just leave them to die on a hillside somewhere. Brutal. Yes, so for most of us, the phrase matriarchal society conjures up images akin to the mythical sperm-stealing, spear-snapping, male-walloping world of the Amazons. But anthropologists are very keen to stress that the matriarchy is not the opposite of the patriarchy. It doesn't mean it's a world where women rule over men. Very simply put, a matriarchal society is one where women are not disadvantaged by the virtue of just being women, where power is shared between the genders, where mothers are placed at the center of the culture. So another one we're going to talk about, which is real and not real at the same time. So Nubian Queens were real. The Nubian queen in the Wonder Woman comic was not real. You see what I'm doing? The comic book character was not real. But there was, Nubia was in the Wonder Woman comic a couple of times. So a high number of ruling queens were in Nubibia. So located in modern day Sudan, there's one research paper that I found that was really cool. The title of it was Neither Goddesses Nor Doormats, The Role of Women in Nubibia. So these fierce queens would spite their enemies. They would exercise control over their society. They worshipped the goddess Isis. Now in the Wonder Woman comics in the 70s, Wonder Woman had a long lost twin sister named Nubibia. Namibia controlled the floating island where there was Paradise Island. She controlled floating island, and she ruled over a community of men. Interesting, eh? So believe it or not, there is still a number of matriarchal societies around the world. So Heidi Gother, and I put her name on the slide because I was terrified I was just absolutely going to abuse it. Heidi Gother Endroth, let's go with that. Amberdroth. I like that better. And I'm very sorry, butchering names. In the leading world of authority in the matriarchal society, she founded the International Academy for Modern Matriarchal Societies and the Matriarchal Spiritual Club in 1986. So she defines the matriarchal society as operating on 4 different levels. So this kind of gives us our definition of a modern matriarch. So the 4 levels are: does a woman control the economic, social, political, and cultural influence of her society? So that is our glorious influence. And now I get to go back to my paper, which I like papers better than screens. It helps me better. Okay, so let's go to our next one. Oh wait, hold on. We're gonna stay there a little bit for a while. Okay, so economically, the matriarchal societies do not pass wealth through paternal lines. Rather, they share, the matriarchal group is responsible for distributing resources throughout the society amongst the clan. So socially, these groups place motherhood at the center. Even men embrace what it means to be a mother. Children are raised collectively in matriarchal groups where everyone is their mother. Women are not excluded from politics in matriarchal societies. Instead, men and women collectively make decisions that affect the group. And culturally, these groups worship female deities and view the natural world as female. So, but what about the sex? Well, I'm glad you asked, because you didn't. In patriarchal societies, wealth has historically been passed down the paternal line in order to ensure power and wealth from father to son. Women's sexuality and reproductive systems have been rigidly controlled to ensure the legitimate of offspring, and female sexuality has been shamed as a bad thing. But in a matriarchal society, there are no paternal lines and the children are raised collectively. So it does not matter who the biological father is. So as you can possibly imagine, I know it's almost hard to imagine, sex and attitudes towards women enjoying sex are vastly different than what we have in today's society. So now I'm going to talk about some of these glorious societies and tribes and communities. And I found pictures because if you can see it, you can be it. And plus, also, it's just, I love fascinating. I'm a visual learner, so I love it. Okay, so the Mosuo Tribe, they are in southwest China. They are in the Yunnan and the Sichuan province of southwest China. They're often referred as China's last matrilineal society. Their numbers are dwindling today. Records of the Mosuo stretch back at least to 750 BC. The Chinese chronicles their name as homeland as Nuku, or the realm of women. They are Tibetan Buddhists whose children are raised in the mother's household and take their mother's last name. Yeah, so Mosuo women, they do not marry. They take as many lovers as they wish. They have no word for husband or father. The lovers do not live together, but women invite men to visit their dormitories at night. This arrangement is referred to as a walking marriage. I really kind of like that term. And it's regarded as no one's business but the couple. And I love that too. So walking marriages can be long-term or they can just be for one night, but nobody would expect you to have just one arrangement over a lifetime. So breaking up is equally fuss-free. Either women stop letting their lover come over or he just stops coming over to see her. A significant initiation rite is a mother giving her daughter a key to her own dormitory so she can begin inviting lovers over, which certainly beats, you know, giving a copy of like the Usborne Facts of Life or putting condoms on cucumbers, that sort of thing. So the next group that I have is the Khasi. The Khasi are in northeast India. Their numbers are about 1 million. There's 1 million in this matriarchal society. Khasi means born from mother. They have practiced a matriarchal society for thousands of years. The clan's property passes from mother to daughter. Children take their mother's name, and a married man will either live with his own wife in his mother's house, or he will just visit her, you know, on occasion. So divorce is a very simple process. Both parties just state that they don't want to be with one another any longer. And the Khasi women will have a number of husbands throughout their lifetime because of this. So yeah. The next one I have is the Minangkabau. Yeah, the Minangkabau. There's so many syllables, I always want to put more, but it might be the Minangkabau. I don't know if it's like Japanese where you pronounce every single vowel. But they are 4 million strong. They're in West Sumatra, Indonesia. Oh, did I put India? Oh, I put India. They're in Indonesia. My bads, y'all. They are the largest known matrilineal society today. In addition to tribal law requiring all clan property to be held and bequeathed from mother to daughter, the Minangkabau firmly believe that the mother to be the most important person in society. The Minangkabau society, women usually rule the domestic realm while the men take the political and the spiritual roles. However, both genders feel the separation of power gives them equal footing. Upon marriage, every woman requires or gets her own sleeping quarters. Her husband may stay with her, but must leave early in the morning to have breakfast at his mother's home. At the age of 10, boys leave their mother's home in men's quarters and learn practical skills and religious teachings. While the clan chief is always male, women select the chief and can remove him from office when they feel that he has fulfilled his duties. So interesting. The next is the Akan. The Akan people are in Ghana, is primarily where they reside. The Akan social organization is fundamentally built around oh my gosh, instead of matriarchy, it's clan. So Matran, oh my gosh, I want to say McClanic is what I want to say, but I know that's not. But it's very much based around the clan, wherein one's identity, inheritance, wealth, and politics are determined. So the clan founders are female, but men traditionally hold leadership positions within the society. Their roles are inherited and they are passed down the mother's line. So through a man's mother's line and sister's line, and their children can happen as well. But often the man is not expected to support his own family, but he's expected to support those of his female relatives. So going back, the gals in his family. The Bribri, the Bribri. Yeah, the Bribri. There we go. The Bribri is a small indigenous group. It's 13,000 people living on a reserve in the Talamanca Catan. It's in the Limon province of Costa Rica. So it's like, it's a really, really small place. Like many other matrilineal societies, the Bribri is organized into clans. And each clan is made up of extended family. The clan is determined through the mother and female lines. Women are the only ones traditionally who can inherit lands. Women are also endowed with the right to prep the cacao in wonderful rituals. Dun, 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 dun. I also want to make sure there's nobody I need to let back in. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, cool. Oh, it was giving me like, it was giving me, hey, peoples kind of things. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Where was that one? Okay, very cool. I was making sure nobody was trying to get back in and be like, hey, let me in. Okay, next I have for you is the Garo. The Garo, they are neighbors to the Khasi, the Khasi women, which are Khasi women in India. So their neighbors are the Garu. The Garu are in India and they speak Tibetan and Burmese. They pass property and political succession from mother to daughter. Typically, the youngest daughter inherits her mother's property, so which is interesting because in a lot of lines, we're used to the oldest son, that sort of thing. So this is the youngest daughter. Much like the Akan, it's very much like a clan based. The men will govern the society and manage the property, but they are in positions of power that are determined by the women of the Garo people. Oftentimes, the youngest daughter's marriage is arranged for her, but for non-inheriting daughters, the process can be much more complex. In the Garo tradition, the groom-to-be is expected to run away from a marriage proposal, requiring the bride's family to then go capture him and return him back to his potential bride and back to the village. This back and forth is repeated until either the bride gives up or the groom accepts her proposal. Often she has made many promises to serve and obey him in this time. But once they are married, the husband lives in his wife's house. Should it not work out, the union is dissolved without any social stigma, and the marriage is not a binding contract. So, yeah, the captured. All right, let me see my next list. There we go. The Nagovisi is from South Bougainville in the island of New Guinea, in the west of New Guinea. So anthropologist Jill Nash reported that the Nagovisi tribe was divided into two matrilineal minorities. They were then divided into clans. So this kind of has like a bit of both, where it's the clans and it's also the matrilineal society. So the women are involved in leadership ceremonies, but mostly take pride in working the land that is entitled to them. Nash, our anthropologist, observed that when it came to marriage, the women held gardening and shared sexuality was very of equal importance. So basically, gardening and sexuality are like one and the same. And I thought that was interesting. I was like, oh, hey. So marriage is not institutionalized. The couple are seen together. They sleep together. The man assists the woman with her garden. I'm just loving the metaphor of the garden here. And for all intents and purposes, they are considered married, but it is not institutionalized. So it's quite interesting. All right. So the Umoja, here we go, the Umoja tribe. These ladies are really cool. Okay, so they are a true blood no man's land. Okay, all men are banned from the society. This village is home to women who have experienced sexual or gender-based violence. The Umoja village means unity in Swahili. It was founded in 1990. So this is a fairly recent society. As occupations, the women and children show tourists their village, and they work to educate others about their rights. It's very, very cool. So, although many of the matriarchal societies are ancient ones, with the exception, there are more recent examples, such as this one, and also in southeastern Brazil. So there's a small town called the Noiva Do Cordeiro, and it is home to 300 people, okay? It's not that big, but women rule everything. The town was established in 1891, so, you know, older than the previous one, when its founder, Maria Senhora de Lima, was exiled from her home and her church for leaving her husband to be with her lover. She was branded as a whore and an adulteress. So Maria founded a community of women with local sex workers who had also been shunned by the church. Today, it's still in existence. The women continue to live in a commune. They sell vegetables and crafts. Although some of the women are married, their husbands work away from the town. And this is in Brazil. How about a little bit closer to home, ladies? How about Alabama? Did you expect to see that there is a female-led society in the United States of America? Amazing, right? So the Alapine Village in Alabama is the only female society that was founded in, It was founded in 1997 as a lesbian commune. So the Alapine was first one of several lesbian communities that kind of started around the 1970s when a group of revolutionary women found a camp on the beach of St. Augustine, Florida. Today, the Alapine Village stretches across 108 acres. It is home to 17 women, and they have a website. Like, I went to see if this was it's still a thing. Pretty neat. So the residents farm the land in the day and they hold regular communal activities. They do poetry readings, they do full moon circles at night. If anybody is interested, the Alapine Village is always keen on more recruits to swell their ranks, as long as you don't have a Y chromosome, of course. So women do rule in certain places around the world. There are communities in place that are structured around maternal values. And I know there's got to be far more, especially in pagan communities as well, past and present, because it's centered around the female energy and the female power is center stage. I do feel like there's far more that I could dig into this because I was starting to feel like I got a lot of information and I didn't want to overload you. But at the same time, I felt like it was, you know, it's like, wait a minute, there's probably way more within this. But this gives us a foundation of what has existed and what still exists today. I thought we could probably pair this a lot better with a discussion of thinking about what it would be like to live in one of these societies. So I thought I would do that. And then I'm gonna stop my screen share there and all that kind of good stuff. And okay, that was a half an hour. I wasn't sure how long it would be with the screen shares and all that kind of good stuff, but you can gloriously unmute your microphones if you want, and we'll discuss and I can throw the slides back up and all that kind of good stuff.